way, I would like to say that what will it profit us if we spend time to acquire wealth and then we lose our health at the expense of our health? The saying goes that health is what? Wealth. Health is the number one form of wealth because we need to be healthy to make money, to amass wealth, and to also be able to spend it and spend it well. As I was saying, I said before that there used to be a saying that something is life. Who knows what it is? Water is life. Is water still life now? It looks like something has taken over. So what is the new life now? Data. Yes. Now they say data is life, but really water is life. And science says that our body is made up basically of water. About 80%, if not more, of our body is made of water. So this morning I am here to remind you that water is still life. That water is still what? Life. How many of us have drank water this morning? Drank water this morning? Okay. Water is life. It's very important to drink water. We forget most times, and God is so good. He has given us reminders, put reminders in our body. When you need water, your body will tell you you become thirsty. But ideally, we shouldn't wait until we feel thirsty. By the time we feel thirsty, it means that our body really, really, really needs water. Our body really needs water. And there are some, ways that we should not drink water. We say water is life, we go to drink water. So should we just go about drinking water? No. We should drink water right. Men need more water than women because, men do more, strenuous, yes. So they lose water, faster. So it is recommended that women drink about 2.7 liters of water daily. That's about 3 bottles of water on the average, and then men can do 4. Thank you. So if you're a woman, yes, you should at least drink 3 of this. At least 3, on the average, 3. Now, some other things can affect the amount of water we need to drink. Sometimes the environment can determine how much water we should drink. On cold days, you don't need too much water because your body is retaining water, But on hot days, I'm sure you agree with me that you should drink more water. So if you have not, at least make it a goal that, okay, 3 bottles on the average I should drink. Now, should we take this bottle, and just gulp it at once, like 1 in the morning, 1 in the afternoon, 1 at night? There's this joke I had once about how people, it used to be very classy, very, like steezy to go about with a bottle of water. And somebody said, the way those people take the water, you think it's a doctor's prescription, So to help you drink water, if it's in a container, in a bottle, or in a cup, it's easier to drink. It's easier to drink. So you can be about with a bottle. If you sachet you want to drink, you can pour it inside this to measure and to also help you make it easy for you to drink, because it's not easy to drink water, especially in the morning. It's very not easy. But if it's in a container, it's usually, a bit easier to drink. This morning again, I learned another use of water from my 4-year-old. Usually when I want to brush, I just take the toothbrush, like I'm brushing, I'm doing something else. Just put, my daughter said, "Mommy, gargle before you brush." I said, "Why should I gargle?" She said, "Because to clear the germs and the bacteria and whatever." I said, and I went to ask Google, and I saw something like that when you gargle, it loses the whatever food particles or germs are in your teeth, and it makes cleaning easier. So I'm wiser this morning thanks to my 4-year-old. So please, this morning, tell your neighbor, water is life. Have you drank water today? Drink water. And like I said, we shouldn't just, we shouldn't rush our water. It's better we sip in little quantity, in bits, and and don't wait till you are thirsty. Just every hour you can just take a sip and take some water. And while I was trying to read up for this presentation, I discovered that water can intoxicate. I never knew that. And I was like, are you seriously not kidding me? Water intoxication. So that happens when you drink too much water at once. And it happens to athletes, people that drink too much water, your body cells can retain water and it could even lead to death. I was very surprised. So please, let's not drink water in a rush and let's not drink too much at once. I was going to praise the Lord. Okay, so that's the end of my water talk. Water is life. Who wants water? You want water? Anybody wants water? Okay. Okay, I forgot. You want water?
Let's clap for her. Let's clap for her. Let's clap for her. Thank you, ma. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, it's getting better. Tell your neighbor it's getting better. It's getting more interesting. So I told us earlier, fasten your seatbelt, right. So before I go to the next thing that we have on our agenda, as you know, I really want to tell us something. I've been saying it before, I'm going to say it again. Let us be action oriented. We've had this water therapy now. It's very easy. After we've had, I've collected water today. I will drink the water today. It is very easy for me to forget about water tomorrow, next tomorrow, but we should keep it in our mind that we should be action oriented. All these things we've had, we should put it into practice every day. Little drops makes a mighty ocean. We should keep practicing, keep doing those actions, or else we'll just be merry-go-rounding. You come this month, you go back, you're still the same. You come again, you go, you're still the same. And you'll be saying, I've been coming to 110 and for the past 5 years, and nothing has changed. We don't want that as our testimony here. We don't want that. We want you to be a changed agent. That's why we put you or we invite you to come. So we are going straight to the next thing on our agenda. And the person that will be introducing our speaker today is no other person than my deputy governor in the person of Mrs. Folashade Ogbende. Let's clap for her as she comes up to introduce our speaker for today. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Good morning, the generous leader.
Good morning, ma.
You're most welcome again. I'm honored to have you here. Okay. I'm honored to have you here this morning. I would like to, it is my great pleasure to introduce our mentor and coach this morning, Mrs. Olajumoke Caxton is a lawyer, a Nigeria Bar Association Forum mentor, and a business management consultant. She holds a master's degree in international trade and investment law and certificate in philosophy and business skill competency. She is an associate trainer in the Nigeria Institute of Training and Development and a professional mentor and coach with the Chartered Institute of Mentoring Coaching Nigeria. She teaches life application skills through her training outfit, Life Mastery Academy, and a video blog on YouTube. She is a motivational and she is a motivational speaker, and she runs a productivity coaching program for women. She is also a published author, and she delights in coaching intended writer from conception to publication. She presently serves as the group managing director of Academic Suites Hotels, Ibadan Central Hotels, Tolu Medical Center, Lagos, and the Habib Olatoye Foundation. Can we rise up to welcome
Thank you very much, Ma. Good morning, generous billionaires. Please, let's be seated. If there are empty spaces in front of you, please move forward so that the people who come late will not distract us. We can't come early and still get out of everybody here. I want to ask, is there anybody that was in the business meeting we had last month that wants to share a testimony about their experience at the business meeting? I know a number of people here who were there. So the question is, do you have something to share that you learned from that business meeting so that the people here can appreciate the value of that session? Okay, sir. Thank you. Please introduce yourself.
Good morning, Dr. Adibeshan Lawal. I was at the last business meeting we had. We had a lot of discussions, but one of the things I gained is paying your employees based on what you are expecting, not based on what the economy is saying. Someone came around and talked about, okay, I'm paying them average salary. And Dr. Abib Alamite, our mentor, said that, no, you have to pay them based on what you are expecting from them, what you are expecting from from your profit. So since then, I increased my employee salary by 20% last month. And I shared my goal, my monthly goal with them, income goals, and I told them that we are going to be reviewing their salaries every 3 months, starting from last year. So, and that has, yes. And because before he said that, he shared two things. I asked about charity, and he said that charity begins at home. He said he has two homes, the family and the business. And then when I heard that, I began to see my people as my family, which means that we have to do more profit sharing. And that has brought a lot of content.
Thank you so much. As you can see, at that meeting, he was able to apply something directly and immediately that caused a difference in his business. The truth is, we come here every month, like Mr. Olasukomi Opalaye said. Sometimes we take a bottle of water away that we can implement immediately. But the thing that makes a difference to our business are the things we gather that we can apply consistently over time. That particular meeting is a quarterly meeting. It's going to happen again in May. And at that meeting in Abeokuta, for those who were not there, let me give you a tip. We all got a magical check that we wrote for the amount of money we want by the next meeting in May. If you were not there, then you have not focused your mind on setting a financial goal for the next 3 months. You are also not likely, because that check is somewhere, I see it every day. And I know the way it makes me feel before I leave my house in the morning. I live with purpose. I know exactly what I'm chasing. It's putting your goal before your eyes. These are the perks. When you come, you address your personal needs. This is a general thing for everybody. You pick what you can learn. There you address your particular need. And then we did not prepare. The checks we got was an addition. There are things that you will pick up that will make a difference. I was there not as a participant, but as a member of the academy. And I can assure you that I suspect that my notes from those meetings were longer than the notes of those who paid to attend. Because I kept learning from their experience. Experience is not the best teacher. It's the most painful. So I'd rather not experience it myself. Let me learn it from somebody else's pain. And when you have a collection of 25 people who have been through different things, and they are talking about the things they have done wrong, you already know what you should not do with your life. So I want to encourage us that when it is May, you should not be left out. The value you will get from that meeting, as you can see from how it has helped his business and helped his relationship with his employees, the things you will get from that meeting, they have lasting impact. They have the power to change the direction of your business, especially since you can even pause and say, sorry, even though you're talking to somebody else, how do I apply this to my business? And you will get a response immediately. Thank you very much. So going quickly to what we have to share today, I said I'll be done in an hour. And Mr. Okpale laughed at me. He said it's after 1 hour that the lion used to come out. I don't know where he sees lion. It's after 1 hour that the lion used to come out. But today we are talking about scaling businesses for exponential growth. Now, this is something that we will define, we will look at, and we must be able to apply specifically to our situation. Please put on the lights because it affects the quality of what we stream. If we can still see, can we still see the slides with the light on? Then maybe we should leave the light on because those who watch online can't see much when the lights are off. Thank you. So when we're talking about scaling businesses, I will try to keep it as simple as possible so that everybody can relate with what we are talking about. Scaling a business is basically the process of increasing your revenue and customer base while maintaining or reducing your costs. It was Peter Drucker that said that the purpose of a business is to create a customer and to keep them. So any business that is not thinking about customers is not in business. Now, when you have customers already and you have something you are doing for those customers, a product or a service that you are rendering for the customer, when you want to scale, what you want to do is increase the amount of money you make without necessarily increasing the amount of money you spend. What this does for you is that you become more efficient at what you do. The more you do it, the better you become at it. It also helps become more profitable. If you are making more money without spending more money, what happens to your profit margin? It naturally increases. It helps you improve your processes because there's no how you are going to make more money spending the same amount of money without thinking critically about your business. That is something that most of us do not do. We fall into the horrible habit of routine. When we set up a way to do something, we leave it to run. The same way many people are in danger of living their lives. You wake up in the morning and you do exactly the same things you do every day because that is what you do, including going to work and showing up. If you do not practice the miracle morning and wake up in the morning and look at what you are trying to achieve with your life and try to see if there is a better way to do it, you are not likely to get where you are going faster. What helps you get acceleration in life is pausing to reflect on what you are doing. No matter how good what you are doing is, you must consistently take a moment, at least per day, to ask yourself, is there a better way to do what I'm doing? Is there a cheaper way to do what I'm doing? Is there a more effective way to do what I'm doing? And that is something that scaling your business forces you to do. Because if you want to increase your profitability while you are spending the same amount of money, the first thing you're going to look at is, okay, these people I have gathered, do I need that many people? Can I save money on the expense I am making on people? Or is there a way I can automate this process so that if I introduce technology and remove a person from the number of people I have, the technology, it might be a one-time payment instead of monthly salary. That way, you are reducing your costs, but you are enhancing your processes. So when you want to scale your business, or you are preparing to scale your business, or you are attending a seminar on scaling your business like you are doing today, what it forces you to do is take time to think about your business critically. What can I do to have more revenue at the same cost? Now, when you do this, if you keep thinking about your business, if you keep improving your processes, if you become more efficient, automatically you become more competitive. It is difficult to find a business you are doing that nobody else in the world is doing. If somebody else in the world is doing the same thing you are doing, and you keep implementing changes across your process, across your people, across your products, if you keep improving these things, what will happen is because you become highly competitive. Because you'll be doing things better than your colleagues are doing it, than your competitors are doing it. You know, in the 110 Academy, across reading all those books on the table, I've come across different types of principles. Of course, one of the pillars of the academy is Kaizen, continuous improvement. Continuous improvement is about making daily improvements. Every time you are thinking of one way to improve what you're doing. If you improve what you're doing, even by 1% every month, whether you like it or not, you are more than 10% better at the end of the year. So that means you keep getting better. If you keep getting better, the people who are maintaining, you will leave them behind because they are just doing what they know to do. And that is why Kaizen always helps. And that is why also thinking critically about your process would make you so much better than everybody else within a short space of time, like 3 months. Apart from Kaizen, another thing is thinking critically will help you eliminate waste because you keep examining your process, you keep examining your people, you keep examining your resources to find a cheaper and better way of doing what you're doing. It leads you to implement imitation, creative imitation. It's in basic skills for entrepreneurs that I read about creative imitation. That is doing what your competitor is doing, but in a better way. So it isn't just enough to go and check, okay, so what are the others doing? When you check what they are doing, how can I introduce this into my business with something extra? When you do things like that, what happens is that you automatically become better than your competitor. But you cannot become better than your competitor by just doing what you're doing or maybe just refining your product. You need to understand what others are doing. So scaling is something that positions you for better, higher competitiveness. People recognize you as someone who is doing something better than the others are doing. And then when you are scaling, there is enhanced customer experience because you are consistently thinking, how do I do this better? How do I earn more money from this? How do I make this work even better for other people? So let's keep it at the back of our mind throughout this session today, that scaling is increasing revenue without necessarily increasing costs. But of course, we understand that to make money, you must have money. You must spend money. So when we say increasing costs, it does not mean that you're not, there are times when you multiply what you do, and definitely because of the raw materials that go into it, you are going to have to spend more money to produce more. However, you keep a tab on your cash flow and make sure that it is always positive. So there are different types of scaling strategies. There are different ways in which people scale their business. Here I've highlighted vertical scaling and horizontal scaling. Vertical scaling is doing more of what you are doing already. So if you're a bakery and you produce bread and you produce, let's say, 30 loaves every day, vertical scaling is trying to see how you can increase the number of loaves of bread you produce per day. Vertical scaling is trying to see how you can increase the number of times you make. You know, we can say increase the number of loaves to 60 per day, or we can say increase the number of loaves to 30 in the morning, 30 in the afternoon, 30 at night. It's still vertical scaling because you are doing exactly the same thing, but you are doing more of it. Another one is acquiring more customers. There are different strategies, but it is vertical if you maintain what you are doing. It is horizontal when you begin to add other streams of income. For example, I have given the example of the person who makes bread and sells bread. And suddenly they realize that their customers, when they buy bread, are always looking for akara. Or they are thinking of the drink they will take with the bread. And so the person making bread, in scaling, in expanding their business, in growing their business, in increasing revenue without necessarily increasing costs, realizes that the person selling bread can still sell akara if somebody makes and supplies. They will still talk about collaborations. You know, so you don't need to expand, you don't need to get a new outlet, you don't need to, but it involves opening new outlets as well. But you can add something else that is bringing in money that is aside from what you are already doing, expanding your streams of income. It might also mean opening a new outlet, maybe down the street in another part of town, and all that. There are other ways An important one is increasing your customer base. If you were making the bread in, I don't know the areas in Abeokuta, if you were making it in Leme, I don't know, we are in Leme, and then you want to now have a boss that will open their booth and sell bread in Kuto. Kuto is far from here, Abi. It's not far. Oh, yeah, give me a place that's far. Sharpo. Okay, Leo. You know that automatically, if you can sell 30 here, you can sell 30 there. So opening an additional outlet, please note that I did not say going to look for shop space. So I said use a car. Your boss, you start convert it into a shop. It keeps your overhead down. Don't forget, we are trying to either maintain or reduce costs while we are increasing production. That is what scaling is about. You might eventually open a shop because the best way to grow is to grow organically. Don't be in a hurry to scale and open 10 shops at once and then you are stranded because you can't manage 10. The companies that have scaled successfully, they are usually more than 10 years old when they decide to start branching or going all over or opening extra outlets. So, increasing your customer base is a strategy for scaling. Entering new markets, like I already described with the Okelewo example, is a way of scaling, adding extra products, adding extra offerings, adding technology. The easiest, not the easiest, the commonest example of those who scale in Nigeria are those who have technology base. How many people here have OPay accounts? You see, that's scaling. Because when they started, they were not, everybody, we were all skeptical. That's how do you join a bank that does not have physical branch? And you now wait. You use your friends as scapegoats. You first of all let them go and open the accounts. Go and see, have they gotten into trouble? So when they don't get into trouble, you start putting money there, but you remove your money every 3 days. After a while, you leave it for 5 days. And then your confidence begins to increase. They have leveraged on technology. There's nobody that opened an OPay account that had to go to a bank. So what did they do? What other banks were doing physically, they did electronically. And so they could leverage on that to get many customers. The reason why the traditional banks did not grow at that rate, because if I say now, how many of us have Zenith Bank accounts? We won't have as many hands up. The reason they did not grow like that is because they wait for you to physically visit the branch to do business with them. And so leveraging on technology is actually a way to expand your business, to scale your business. If you can leverage on technology and provide that service faster or provide that service elsewhere without the need for physical interaction, is a way to actually grow your business. Many of us are familiar with e-commerce platforms like Jumia, Konga, that accept you to post products. So this is a good way of leveraging technology. The things you can sell by yourself in your shop. I know there are a lot of people here who produce food. You know that if you're on Chowdeck or you're on, give me all the other ID. Hey Food, Glovo. These are apps, they are technology based. They don't have kitchen. They are using your kitchen to sell food on their app. So the people you could reach with some people have signboard outside, blackboard that they write Amala is ready. The people you can reach with Amala is ready is not the number of people Glovo can reach when it uploads your store on their app. So leveraging technology is also a strategy for scaling your business. And then, of course, strategic partnerships. I mentioned I'm selling bread. There's somebody I know who sells akara. I can take your akara to bigger places if you collaborate with me. I am aware that this is the stock model of Foodco. How many of us know Foodco, the supermarket? Foodco does not actually buy the items in the store. You put your items in Foodco. Yes. So you have created clothes like ready to wear. You have created sandals and you want to sell them. So you go to Foodco, you have an agreement with them that when they sell your products, they'll put your products in their store. When they sell your products, they will remit the money to you. So Foodco doesn't have to be begging people. They have a business, a building. They have you who wants them to sell, like the e-commerce store. And so they are making more impact. They are getting more customers. You are Foodco customers, but you are buying my products. So partnering with Foodco will give me a bigger base because I know that people who are looking for things will enter supermarkets. So automatically, I have a larger customer base by leveraging on collaboration. So when we say collaboration and partnerships with respect to scaling, it does not mean that you want to double your headache and share your profits. That's what our mentor calls partnership. Partnership is doubling you and somebody else. You will now have headache together. And then when you make money, you will share it. It just means identifying somebody that has a structure in place, that has infrastructure, or maybe a customer base that you need, that you can work with, that will give you access to the market you are looking for, while you continue your production. Of course, immediately the market is larger, you have to produce more to keep up with the demand from their end. So, the benefits of scaling. I don't even need to say this anymore. All of us can tell from the examples we have heard that automatically the money you are making will be more. If I am producing shoes and clothes and I don't need to get a shop or recruit a sales girl because I'm collaborating with Food Court that has a building, and I will tell them how much I'm selling it, they will add their price. I get my full money. The price they have added, they deduct their money before they remit to me. Automatically, my profitability increases because I don't now need to rent a shop or employ people to drive increased revenue. I'm leveraging on their own, for example. So naturally, your profitability will increase. Even if you are not collaborating and you are doing this yourself, you are expanding the number of products you produce, like the baker that goes from 60 to, say, 90 in a day. Profitability will increase because of something called economies of scale. What is economies of scale? It is always cheaper to buy in bulk. So where I was buying 1 bag of flour before and 1 bag of sugar, if I buy 3, I will use that to negotiate a cheaper cost price for my raw materials. If I had, sorry, please, whose phone is that?
Who is that? Please switch your phone off.
Please let us all put our phones on silent or switched off totally. This seminar won't last more than 2 hours. And I don't think it's too much to invest 2 hours in something that will produce a lifetime of benefit. Thank you. You see, it has distracted us and cut into the flow. So, producing by yourself. When you leverage on economics of scale, you will have to spend less on raw materials. If you are able to use the same number of staff to produce because you are leveraging on technology, machines, or even AI in this dispensation, that means that you will increase your production. And even if you have to increase your cost because of the raw materials, it will be minimal because you can negotiate a reduction in how much you are spending. Automatically, your profitability increases. We already talked about how it enhances your competitiveness. You become a name people even recognize for what you do. And so when people mention your name, they remember that, yes, they have heard about you before. When I mentioned Foodco, we were all sure of who Foodco is. The place is here now. And they have come to Ibadan as well. They started from Ibadan. I didn't know them in Ibadan. I knew them in Lagos.
Yeah, they started from Ibadan.
Because now I saw, they sent an advert. That's why.
When they started,
Okay.
I was invited to
Talk to them. Okay. Because now I'm getting adverts that I should come to the place with address. But the name became recognizable in Lagos. I came to Abeokuta one day and everybody started saying, no, I must eat from the place before I go. You know, and now they are sending personalized SMS to us that the place is now open at so and so place in Ibadan. The name itself makes you want to go because there is something they're offering. You have a variety of 20, 30 meals at once. It's not necessarily the cheapest. Their brand is not known for being cheap. It's known for having a variety. But then, it is you who decides what your brand would be known for. But then you become a recognized brand if you keep working on scaling your business and becoming even more competitive. And that is what the market share is about. The share of food that is being sold that belongs to that particular company because the brand is recognized continues to increase. There's a food brand in Ibadan now called Item 7. Now you are aware, you have heard. As a matter of fact, item 7 should be the topic of today. But you see, if we take item 7 as our scaling example or case study, we will not live here. Because me, I want to do research on item 7. I understand that it's a food brand from Ilorin. They started in Ilorin. And then they came to Ibadan sometime last year. And when they came to Ibadan, they opened one branch in Challenge. The trip for me is 1, their product, 2, their speed of replication. Now, the product, the only thing they sell is party jollof. They only sell rice, and they sell jollof and fried rice. You have an option of fish, meat, beef, or chicken. You have plantain. They will put 2 or 3 in your plate. But there is a problem with their price. And that is that rice and beef came in at 2,000 naira. When the price of rice per bag had gone up to 100,000. I don't know what they are doing. I want to know what they are doing. There's a secret to that price that I need to know. They must be growing rice. Because if they are buying where I buy this, they can't sell it like that. Now, they only sell rice and shawarma. The shawarma is 2,000. Rice and fish is 2,500. Rice and chicken is 3,000 naira. You cannot even cater for your party and get your vendor to agree to sell a plate at 3,000. No matter the number of plates you are ordering. That's why I said we need to study them. And it's a very, very serious study because they came less than a year ago, opened an outlet in Challenge. And I realized that we were sending people to Challenge to go and buy rice. It's just that you gather the orders from your neighborhood and say, hey, there are 20 of us. Oh yeah, we contribute to transport fare. Go and buy from Challenge. In 2 months, they were in Bodija. As at last month, I found out that they had 2 other locations in Ring Road. Yes, they have Mobile, and then they have Ajengbe. And then I was driving last week, and because they had a signature look, I saw that they were building in Dubai. And it's not cheap. That's why I said for scaling business, we need to sit down with their CEO and find out exactly what is going on. But you cannot scale at that rate with your money because you need to grow organically. If you are saving from your profits that we are not even sure they have, you have to be able to save over time to open another branch. So that's why I said it's a case study that we need to look at. I already know that whatever profits they are making from their business, they are sharing with the bank. But the market share of party food in Ibadan now belongs to them. So when we have trainings, nobody is calling caterer. You just tell them, bring 100 packs of item 7. And their system, their business model is such that they can produce 100 packs in 5 minutes. It's ready. There's rice. There's always rice. You cannot get there and they won't have. So they produce at that rate. Any meeting anybody wants to have now, caterer cannot do it at that price. So why are we? Please go and buy. Now, all these apps that sell food, all of them, they're on every app. And so they're still serving a wider market, especially those, Gen Z, they don't leave their bed for anything. It's on their bed that they will order their rice. They will deliver it to their door. They don't need to see sunlight because they work on their computers. And so they're catering to the traditional markets, the people that want to come with their children and buy, the people that want to order, the people that are serving parties. And so it's a business model worth serving. And that tells you that the market share now, the caterers are struggling. But people who have physical parties are still using caterers. But as long as you are not having a physical party, that is your best bet in terms of price. And so there's brand recognition. Now, when your brand is recognized, when you are competitive, people ask to work with you. I once conducted an interview in this very room when a lady walked in and said, today is today. If I can enter this room, I'm not going again. And I said, what is it? She said, no, that I must work in academy suit. Anything you give me, I will do. But do you see your staff when they dress up? Do you hear your advert? Do you? And I'm like, okay, what do you want? Well, the position you advertised is this, but I just want to work here. It has been my dream to work here. That is what happens when you have a recognized brand. When people know what your customer service is like, when people know what your employee welfare package is like, they actually desire to work with you. There are many people who come and say that, okay, I want to work with Dr. Abibola Amitoye. What can I tell me anything I can do to work with him? Because they also know that where we are in the Abibola Amitoye group, there is no how. Even whether once you start moving around Dr. Abibola Amitoye, you will read. You will get better personally. So even if you work for 1 year or you work for 10 years, you cannot be the same person when you come in and when you go out. And that is, the brand is recognized for improving your life personally. You can give it a try. Moving on swiftly. Those are the benefits of scaling, but it has its challenges. Managing rapid growth. When your growth in terms of scaling is too fast, you will be struggling to keep up with the growth. Normally, when you start a business, there is a period within which you need to find your feet and you're struggling. If you begin to open outlets in quick succession and each branch is at different stages, managing the stages of growth presents a new challenge. The greatest challenge of scaling is reproducing what you have, replicating it in the new branch. You can ask those who cook. Except if the strategy, the recipe rather, is tied directly to inventory. Directly to inventory in that it is exactly 1 cube of Maggi you will have. It is exactly 2 spoons of salt you will have. If it's tied directly to inventory, then you might be able to replicate the taste. Like, that's what KFC is famous for. That there is a particular taste. As a matter of fact, item 7, no matter the branch, the rest tastes the same. So the recipe is tied to inventory. Unless you tie your recipe to inventory. Somebody like me, I actually don't taste food when I'm cooking. Because I know the measurements that would achieve a particular taste. So I do it automatically. But the day somebody tries to help me do it, they won't get it. Because when you use eye to measure salt, if they change the salt from Dangote to, give me another name, to Anapuna, you will not get the same taste. So except you are able to articulate what you do in that type of detail, including the brand of raw materials you use, you will not be able to duplicate your effects, your results, your products. Except you are using the same type of Maggi or the same type of salt when you are cooking food, you will not get the same taste. And so a lot goes into it. So what if the government releases a policy and that particular type you were using now goes out of stock? How do you manage the taste and the consistency? Because when it is a brand that people recognize, there is an expectation. How do you manage the expectation of your customers? In Lagos yesterday, Dr. Yusuf he asked himself when he was scaling 2 questions. What is it that we do that our people like? How can we make sure we continue to do it? Because the minute you lose what is bringing people, you have lost the benefit of scaling. Because there is a product that is bringing them. There is a reason why they patronize you. Some people don't patronize you for your product. Customers want a solution to their problems, but they want something more. They want to feel good. Some people patronize you because they feel good when they are with you. Academy Suits, for example, our brand is home away from home. So the moment they start feeling at home when they are here, there's something wrong that we need to fix. So not just are we offering you a place to stay, not just are we offering you a clean environment, you have to feel as if you are at home and you can ask any question and you can make your demands freely and they would answer you. So find what they want from you. Then find why they are buying. It's important to know why they are buying. They might be buying because of convenience. Then that means no matter how much you scale, you must not lose that vital thing. That is what they are looking for from you. So that also talks directly to maintaining quality and consistency. They must be able to meet the same thing anytime, any day, no matter the branch they go to, no matter how many products they buy. When you make 5 plates of rice, the taste might change when you make 20. They must always meet the same thing, no matter the quantity of products they are buying. You must also be able to adapt to changing market conditions. The item 7 example I gave, not only do they have physical outlets, not only are they serving people who walk in, they are serving the online community as well. So with what you are doing, I hope you are thinking, how can I move into the technology space? Because the number of people that don't want to interact with you physically to buy from you are increasing. People don't want to go to hotels where they cannot check online what facilities there are already. If they need to call you or physically visit you to know the prices of your rooms, they are no longer interested in doing business with you. They don't even want to do business with you if you don't have online presence. That means you will not be afraid of the power of the customer. I hope you know that online presence gives your customers more power, because they will call you out in public and there's nothing you can do about it. As a matter of fact, if you keep deleting bad comments, they will report you to Instagram and Instagram will pull down your page. Do you understand what I'm saying? So immediately you have social media presence and they're asking you questions online and you're answering, you already have a leverage over your competitors. But that is also you adapting to the environment now. So what is it that people are doing now? How are you incorporating it into your business? Those challenges, the fact that we are now moving to AI, how is it going to make your own business different? Adapting to the changing times is something that you must consistently think about. Otherwise, it will become a challenge for you to scale your business. Of course, the minute you introduce technology, that means that your staff have to know how to use it. Let me say it here, that scaling is almost impossible if you have not learned how to run a business that thrives in your absence. Because you cannot scale if you have to be there. You cannot scale if it is you that you have to mix the dough before you can do the bread. So if you work in your business, it might be almost impossible to scale because there is only so much you can be. There are only so many places you can be at the same time. There are only so many things you can do in one day. Nobody, at least inside this room, I'm sure, nobody has more than 24 hours. If you have more than 24 hours in a day, raise up your hand. So you are limited by time and you are limited by your capacity. And so there is increased complexity if you need to scale. You must be able to reproduce yourself. Sometimes you might be successful in reproducing yourself in one person. It is a lot of work reproducing yourself in several people. It takes deliberate action. It takes continuous learning, continuous improvement. As a matter of fact, I dare say you cannot scale if you don't read. You can't scale if you are not thirsty for knowledge. You can't scale if you can't make the people with you thirsty for knowledge the way you are. Because if they don't know, they will keep spoiling what you are building. Also, maintaining the company culture, especially the customer-centric part of your company culture. If the people with you don't treat customers the way you treat people, it's a matter of time. The expansion will kill you because you will not be there to treat them the way you want them to be treated. So you must be able to imbibe the culture of treating customers well in your staff. So having said that, the question we all need to ask ourselves is my own business scalable? Can I scale? Is it something I can scale? All of us will scale eventually if we are successful in business. But we must ask ourselves today, am I positioned to scale? If I'm not positioned to scale, then I cannot scale. Then I need to restructure my business in a way so I can scale. Because how far you will go is dependent on your ability to scale. And in the academy, we are not working to create a business for ourselves. The businesses we are creating is not for feeding our family. It's for feeding generations. We are building business empires that would leave a legacy that our great-grandchildren will know the name of their great-grandfather. You know, you don't know the name of the great-grandfather that didn't leave anything for you. What your great-grandfather left for you is directly proportional to the amount of good what he left did to you. You know that if your children never have to work one day, they are just maintaining what you have created, they are just following the processes you have created. They will tell their children about their father. As a matter of fact, the children will make sure they meet that father because the father must not go until they come, so that they would also drink from that fountain of knowledge of how he created it. It's a thing of pride. And then it's passed down through generations. The biggest companies in the world, they are multi-generational companies. All the Fords of we know Henry Ford. But till today, in the Ford company, you will find a Ford. That's it. So these big companies, they are for handing down over generations. So whatever business you are working on now, from this seminar, immediately you must have action points on how to make what you are doing scalable. So how do you diagnose if what you are doing is not scalable? The first thing you need to consider is your business model. How do you do what you do? What kind of system do you adopt to operate your business? So you might need to sit down and write yourself from start to finish. How do you do what you do? Write down your business process. What kind of system do you adopt? Where do you get your raw materials? What do you do after getting raw materials? How do you market? Who are the people that work on the different steps of the process? If you do not have a written down business process, that means you have not even identified your business model. If you don't have a standard operating procedure that your employees can work with, that means you do not have a system that you know. You are just playing it by ear. You are just doing trial and error. So you need to write down your business process. When you write down your business process, that means when you are not there, anybody with that business process can replicate what you are doing. But if you don't even have a written down business process, then what will the righteous do? Another thing is dependence on technology. It helps you reach a higher market. I already mentioned this. You have to start thinking, how can I adopt technology in what I do to make it reach a bigger audience, to help me produce more, to help me stay in the face of people more, to help me generate a larger customer base? We know for a fact that technology reduces the manpower you need, reduces the cost you need to put in, because it's most times a one-off expense or a cheaper expense, like a subscription-based thing. But then you are able to achieve more because you have added technology to what you do. Another thing to consider is market reach. How much are you doing now? Are you earning the most you can from what you do now? It's the same thing with multiple streams of income. Maximize your income with what you do first before you try to achieve more. So are you serving the customers you have already? Are you serving them the best way you can? If you are, then it's time to get more. If you are not, then improve your customer's experience. Improve your product. When you have created that magic moment for your customers, they themselves will market you. The demand for your product or service will now exceed what you are producing, and automatically your business puts you under pressure to scale. So, having said all of this, it will be difficult for you to scale if your business depends on individual attention. And so people like me are in danger. If you say that what you want to do for life is be a business coach, unless you can scale coaching, you are in trouble. Because when people say, who is your coach? They will mention an individual. And then they will say, sit down, let's have a session. Except you are able to record videos. And so they will watch the video and get the tip they need. If you need to do one-on-one, there's only so much you can do, especially within 24 hours. Now, the reason I said people like me, okay, if we are not talking coaching, yeah, let's talk law. If your client is seeking you based on your expertise, you can get into trouble if they refuse to see anybody but you. Same thing with doctors who are specialists, not running a business. Because if you say you are specialized and you are the professor, the patient would ask for you. If the patient keeps asking for you, there are only so many patients you can see. You are limited in scaling because what you are doing requires individual attention. So what you should do is exactly what Dr. Habib did. What did he do? He removed himself from the front of the patients, put other people there, built their trust in the other people, and then went somewhere else to start the same thing. Put more people there, and then ran a system that gave the same value to the patients without him needing to be there. And that's why I don't think anybody should leave this room today without buying How to Run a Business, How to Create a Business That Thrives in Your Absence. That's the book. It's on the table. We have many copies. But that is what helps you work on your business, helps you create a system, teaches you how to hire the right kind of people that can run that business when you are not there. Because that's the way to scale. If it needs you, then it cannot be scaled. Another thing is when your business is built around a geographical location. So I find it amusing when you ask people that what do they do? And they say things like they sell beachwear. The person that is selling beachwear in Abeokuta, what kind of business is that person going to do? That business cannot grow because there's no beach. Do you understand? So if your business is localized, is tied to a geographical location, the person that is selling beachwear can only sell in a place that has a beach. So first of all, you will relocate. Then when you relocate, you are limited to the people going to the beach. It's not everybody that will need what you have to sell. So the capacity of your business to grow is actually directly tied to the type of solution you are providing and the number of people that need it. If the solution you are providing is localized or tied to a geographical location or tied to only a narrow segment of people, then you just might not need to scale because nobody would need your service. So it might mean that as you are listening to me this morning, you need to rethink your business model. You might need to change what you are doing. You might need to face another direction, another aspect of what you are doing, because the one you are doing right now is not able to serve a sufficient number of people to create the kind of legacy, the business empire you're trying to build. Another thing is handmade crafts. You know, there are things we buy, that they will put a sticker on it. Major ingredients, love. I bought cake on Monday and the person wrote major ingredients, biggest ingredients, love, and stuck it on it. You know that person is doing handmade crafts. She has just 2 hands and she has just 24 hours. Her customer base cannot increase. Or it will get to a peg and she will refer them to somebody else who will not treat them who will not create that item the way she creates it. And automatically there will be a peg on that business. So while some people would get away with it, I have a few friends that make handmade bags. Handmade bags that if somebody else in your company makes, once you're not making it with machine and you're making it with hand, the minute the person sewing the stitch changes, the bag stitch will change. If your business is that kind of business that is localized, that you need to put that love element, that it is only you that you know how to do, don't bother. You are not created to scale. So look at your business very well. If there's anything that can by you, already you have set yourself up for problems with scaling. So how do you prepare for scaling? Work on the following areas carefully. Identify and leverage on your unique selling point. From the last slide, we have realized that your unique selling point must not require individual attention. Your unique selling point must be something that can be replicated whether you are there or not. So it still goes back to those 2 questions I talked about. What are people buying from you? 1. 2, why are they buying it? Why they are buying it is your unique selling proposition. Like the example I used of academic suits, the unique selling proposition is a home away from home. And so that is one thing you must leverage on. In every advert, you must mention it. Because that is what appeals to the people that love you. So that must be your best foot, and you put it forward all the time. Also, create a culture of innovation and deploy Kaizen. Consistently think, how can we do what we are doing better? Now, more than you have people working with you who have a different perspective of life. Do you have a culture of asking them how they think they can do what they are doing better or faster or cheaper? You must put it in your system. A suggestion box scheme or a way of asking the people that patronize you or the people that work with you, this thing we are doing, is there a better way, a faster way, a cheaper way to do it? You must encourage people to voice out And not only will you take the ideas, you will work on it and put it in your business and innovate. There are businesses people love because every time they go, there's something new. There's a better experience. There's a finer experience. Businesses like that are academy suites. Don't worry, in a matter of time, every time you come, you see something, they've changed something, they've repainted something, they've added something. There's always something new to experience. It is something you need to incorporate in your business as well. It always gives your customer something to anticipate. And of course, like I said, the purpose of the business is to acquire a customer and to keep them. So if you have not yet, if you are designing your business without thinking about the customer, there's something wrong. You're supposed to design your business from the perspective of a customer. How to Win Customers and Keep Them for Life by Michael LeBouf is a book you can read to help you focus on customer acquisition and retention. So the key things you can use to drive scaling. I've already talked about how technology and innovation will help. Process optimization. When you are writing down what you do, as you are writing it down, you yourself will recognize things you can do differently. You must consistently look at the different things you do and make sure that you are doing best version of it. Make sure you are doing the optimized version of it. Least effort, greatest results. That's what optimization is all about. And of course, naturally, you must focus on talent acquisition and development. When you are duplicating yourself, you must recruit people like yourself. If the people you are putting to run the system you have created do not think like you or view life like you, you might have greater challenges communicating with them because they might not be able to see what you are projecting. We say it here over and over again. It's a principle in academy suites and all the companies of our mentor that we don't teach people to be nice. We hire nice people. That's the only way to maintain your customer's experience. Otherwise, your customer will come in and they will say, what can we do for you today? Please. If you are here to price, there are customers that would still price, whether there's price list or there's no price list. There are some people that must price. They want to take a room, but they are saying 3 for 20. Like Pepe. Ask them, is it Pepe? The person already does not have your perspective of customer service. So when you're hiring, you know what you're looking out for. You are looking out for either people who are already like you or people you can train to become like you. But it is not negotiable. You must hire nice people because people cannot be trained to be nice. And that's why the Yoruba say, "Ifiniwa." And Ikunle Oshewa. Because no matter how much of an outside structure they put out, it's the day you shout at them that the original thing inside them will come out. Even if they have been nice, imagine what you'll be hearing. Imagine what you're already thinking, I've not said anything. You understand? They'll start giving you hints that, please, Ojolora. They start living. Some people have been saying this thing, it's completing all my sentences. So watch carefully. Building a business empire that outlasts you, that is a legacy, is a lifelong dream. You can't commit it to just anybody. And so your greatest passion, your greatest learning is picking the people to whom you will commit the vision because they have the power to either make it or destroy it. And so talent acquisition and development is important. And then when you get them, don't leave them the way they are. Because you keep saying you want your business to grow, you want your business to get better. If your people are getting better, your business will get better. And so it's important to grow them. In academy suites, all the staff read every month. More than reading, they present seminars on the things they do every month. They learn continuously, either from the books they are reading or from the things they have researched by themselves. You must have a culture of teaching them. Even if you are not going to set up meetings where they are learning, you can send links to videos where they can learn. You can send them books. You can ask them to come and review what they've learned. Okay, so what are we going to change in how we do business from what you are learning? These are things we must incorporate into our businesses such that our people will get better and then the results they produce will get better as well. I already talked about strategic partnerships and collaborations when I talked about how Food Co does business. One thing we must mention is collecting data. Do you even know who your customers are? Many times I ask the question, can you tell me your customer avatar? And people actually cannot. You say, who is your customer is hungry? It's not anybody who is hungry. I remember my first question that was answered at 110 Academy in Abeokuta was answered by business. She was the person that spoke about water. Where is she? Let's see her in the room again. The name of her business is J Cube Cravings. And so I started thinking, when somebody is doing food and the name is Craving, how does this tie into our business model? So I asked her in a seminar like this to tell me more about her business. And she now said directly opposite a hospital where they take care of pregnant women. Have you seen pregnant women looking for party jollof at 2 a.m.? So she knows what she's doing. So she caters to cravings, and it's a part of her business name. But if she did not realize that the type of food she's selling, like a kuru, I've met some pregnant women that will be looking for a kuru, the one with oil. You see, the cravings, they are not things you can find easily anywhere. I have a friend, she specializes in things like egbo, a kuru, those cravings. And the thing is, when Chef Appella, a friend of mine, went to Twitter and started posting about egbo and ekuru,